Hello friends. So in today's tutorial we are going to learn basics of backend development, and we are going to create an API to provide random codes to user. So if you see in the browser here we have a JSON response. For people who don't know what a JSON is, it's a collection of key value pairs. For example, this results is a key and the value is an array. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a API URL or endpoint like this, which will return a JSON array containing quotes. For this, I have taken reference from Codable.io. So this is an open source repo and quite famous. If you like this tutorial, be sure to give it a star. Now the next thing that comes into the tutorial is Node.js. So we are going to use Node.js for our backend API development, and we are going to create our API using a framework called Express.js, which is a part of Node.js ecosystem, mainly useful for creating backend APIs. So the first step that we need to do is to start some great background music, because it's quite fun to code when some music is playing in the background, especially instrumental or one which doesn't have words. Anyways, so the first thing that we need to do is run npm init command. Now the prerequisite for this tutorial is that you need to have Node.js installed on your system, which allows you to run commands like npm or node. And npm stands for Node Package Manager, and this is a shell-based command which is used for initializing Node.js-based projects. So the first command that you will run is npm init. Now I've already done that, and once you have a npm init command run or executed in your folder, you will get a package.json file like this and a package log.json. Now the editor which I'm going to use today is VS Code. You can use the editor which you like, Atom or WebStorm or any other is fine. Now whenever we run an npm init command, a package.json file like this is generated. So essentially it contains the name of your repo, the version, description, and the scripts to test the repo. Now I have created a sample JSON file for our use case, and we are going to use this JSON file for serving codes to user. Now the first thing that we need to do is create an index file. So index.js is usually an entry point for majority of JavaScript projects. Once you have an index file created using the command touch index.js, let me just increase the fonts. Yeah, I guess now it will be better visible. So touch is a command for creating new files. Now we have an empty index.js file created, and we are going to run our code here. So the first thing that we need to do is initialize it with Express. So for that we need to install Express npm module. If you are unfamiliar with npm modules, the npm module is essentially a collection of JavaScript files which you can import or use from npm registry. The npm registry is let's say a marketplace where you can find all such kinds of open sourced npm packages or collection of JavaScript modules. So if you go to Express.js official documentation, you will find the steps for installing Express.js module. As you can see here, you need to run the command npm install express -save. So what this command essentially does is it's installed Express to your project, and then you can import this npm module into your project. So let the command run and Express.js get installed. Now once you have Express.js installed into your project, you will find it's in here. I had installed Axios earlier, there is no need for it. So here is our Express.js module installed, and if you want to see the files which were actually installed after running this command, you can check out node modules folder. So node modules is the folder where all the imported package files, collection of package files or npm modules get stored. And this is the npm module which got installed after running npm install express command, and it has its own source code which we are not going to touch or look into currently. Now coming back to index.js file, we need to initialize an express.js server. Now you can either type it, or the best way to go for it is refer the official documentation. So what we essentially do is we first require express file. Let me just copy it once. Okay. So what we essentially do is we first require any npm module which we are going to use in our file. In this case, we have imported express npm module. Next thing is we create an instance of that express module. An instance is essentially a sort of constructor or initialization of the module. Now if you go inside express.js implementation, you can find a lot of code, and as you can see, it adds an export. What we essentially do is we create an instance of this exported module in our project. Next, we specify the port on which the API will get served. So essentially, whenever we open a website, by default it gets served by 8080 port. In the backend side, we have a collection of ports on which we can run our scripts. So in this case, we have used 3000 as our default port. Next, we have initialized a basic API for our /mount point. I will cover this in a moment. And then we have an app.listen statement which will start our server on port on which we specified here. So coming back to our terminal, in order to run this file or start the server process, we use node command, and after that the file name. Now as you can see, we have a log here which is example app listening at some port. Now this log came from this console.log statement, by which we are sure that server has started. Now in order to test this API or get the response from this API, we need to go to the browser and open localhost /3000, and we have a hello world statement. The reason being, by default when we type localhost :3000, the base endpoint gets served, and base endpoint is /. And if we look at the code, in / we have hello world as a response. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to import this JSON file. So the easiest way to import a JSON in Node app is to define a variable, let's say quotes JSON array, and then require and specify the file name. In our case code source.json. Now just to see what this file contains, we will log it. So the shortcut to log is type log and hit enter. So we will log the JSON array along with type of the variable. Now if we restart our server, we can see that our JSON file got imported and its type is object, which is what we wanted. Now what we essentially need to do is we need to return this JSON array to end user. So the easiest way to do that is to write another app.get function similar to what we had here, and here we can specify an endpoint as quotes list, then request and response. So request and response are two parameters which are available from the callback of this app.get function. So what a callback essentially is that most of the times in JavaScript we pass functions as a parameter to internal files, and this is what the function returns in response. And app.get or any get post or put or any other method always returns a request and a response variable which we can use for our purposes. So request is used for getting the data from client side, and res is useful for sending data back to the website. So let's say if I want to log in a user, the username and password which the user enters will be taken from the client side to the server side using the request command, and on checking that the credentials are valid, we can allow the user into our app using the res command. So in our case we are not taking any input parameter and directly sending the response. So let's say quotes list is our response para, and within that we send our code JSON array. Now let's see if this works. So instead of restarting this server process again and again after changes, what you can do is you can use NodeMon. So NodeMon is a monitoring based npm module which restarts the server process after every change. So let's say if I remove the console.log statement, my server will get restarted like this, and I will have updated code running on my server thread. Now if we go back to localhost and try to access code list endpoint, we see that we have a response as a JSON array which with quotes as content. Now we can use this to create front-end app which will return random list of codes. Now the second API which we are going to create is to return random code to user. In this case we are going to return a single code but which has to be random. For that, the first thing that we should do is we should know the length of our JSON array. So let's print the length of array. We can print it outside. And dot length method is used to get array of a length of an array. Sorry. And as you can see, we have a total 20 quotes in our JSON array. So what we essentially need to do is in random quote API is we need to send any of the 20 APIs as a response, a single item. So what we need to first do is we should generate a random number between 1 and 20 and then pass it to our pick an index from that. So let's just search how to generate random number between 1 and 10 inches and modify it. So we will be using maths.random. As you can see, W3 schools is a good resource. Okay, first of all, W3 schools is a good resource to get code snippets or learning things. Now, I usually don't try to by heart all the syntaxes and just fetch them, because remembering any kind of syntax is not uh, useful or essential thing. As a programmer, as long as I know what logic needs to be built, that's enough. So this function can generate a random number between 0 to 9. In our case, I want a random number which generator function which will generate a random number between 0 to 20. So I think this should be good enough, and let's see if I get a random number. So again, log, enter, and the random number. And for time being, let's just send a sample response for this API to work without an error. So let's say random code and an empty string. Okay, let's hit this endpoint on our browser and check our log. So yeah, we got a random number 9. Now the next thing that we need to do is access the 9th code item from our JSON array. So let's take our code JSON array and pick up the code item from it. So what this statement essentially did is, from code JSON array, it will pick up the code item at an index. In this case, the index is the random number. So let's see if code item is returned properly. Let's just log it first. So this is what the code item generated. Now what we can do is, we can pass this code directly on the code object as a response, and hopefully we will have a random code. Yes, so we have a random code. Now this is a greatly simplified implementation of what usually happens in backend side. So what we did was, we took up our code from a JSON, which is a thing that we don't usually do in backend API development. What we essentially do is, we make use of database like MongoDB or MySQL. So in the next tutorial, we are going to see how to set up and use MongoDB to store this codes JSON array and then retrieve the code item from there. I did not do it in this tutorial because I wanted mainly to focus on essentials of Node.js and how we can create basic APIs. And in the next part of this tutorial, we will use MongoDB, then see how to store the JSON and retrieve it in the same server-side script. That's it for today. Thank you. Have fun. Bye.